got a quick video here today. We are watching She Caught Me Cheating with Herself. Me personally, if I was to cheat, which I would never do because black men don't cheat. I don't know how he black. But if I was to ever cheat, I would not get caught. Especially by the girl. But, hey, look at him. He has dyed dreads. He's a thug. So, let's go ahead and get right into the video. No more chatting up. It's like an anime.
I'ma keep it a stack with y'all. If you want to be in a relationship, always make sure your intentions are clear from the start. Or you'll end up like me, who did it and reap what he sowed. If you've been on this channel for more than a year, then it's probably a good chance that you've seen this video that I made back then with my old art style about one of my exes named Sade. We had a very immature, toxic relationship, dated her for like a year and a half, blase, whole lotta. This story takes place 3.5 years ago at the very beginning of our relationship when I was a completely different person from what I am now. And the way we got together was kind of chaotic. I'll keep it short. One night we were both at a house party in a room alone. I was living my best life at the time, so my only mission at that party was to slide my hot dog into some girl's buns. For some reason she was sad. I felt bad for her, so I tried to cheer her up. That turned into a casual, flirty conversation. It got a little bit spicy in that room. I got her juices juicing, if you know what I mean. It didn't go as far as you think, but it was just enough to get her attached. In fact, so attached to the point that she showed me more attention than anyone there for the rest of the night. Keep in mind, before her, I never really had a female show me that much attention, because back in high school when it came down to bagging females, even though I played sports, I was the quiet, shy, unconfident kid that had little to no experience. Listen, damn, man. That's why I was on my F-boy energy that night, because months before, I saw some of my friends have this same energy and it worked. So me being the gullible kid I was at the time, monkey see, monkey do. In fact, over time, I became a pro at putting my heart on ice, no rod wave. So when she showed me that type of attention, I knew my hard work paid off. So after the party, we texted for like 3 days. All of our conversations were just flirting, no real chemistry at all, because I don't know about her, but I only had one mission in mind. Beat the Doonies down. Why didn't I just do it at the house party? That was my mission, you may ask. Yeah, it was my mission, but honestly, I didn't come prepared to go full throttle at all, if you know what I mean. I only intended for her to be like a friends with benefits or a side piece per se, because I found out she was a super freak that didn't give off any relationship vibes. She gave off more of a for the streets vibe. So I never made my intentions clear from the start because I assumed we were on the same page, but whew, oh boy, was I wrong. I had her so wrapped around my finger that, I kid you not, after 3 days of texting, indirectly, she asked me out. She was like, so what are we? And in my head, I'm like, what do you mean? What?
All right, let me give you all the sauce, bro. She asked you, what are we, bro? You just said we're dating at this point, right? No, hold on. That's not the sauce. Hold on, I fucked it up. Yeah! All right, so look, right? The sauce is, she asked, what are we? Then you reply with, whatever you think we are. So then, but you implied that you dating type shit. So now she think you dating, but you never said we dated type shit.
What are we? You must be speaking French or something, because I don't know what you're talking about. We are human beings. That's it.
And if you say that's not sauce, get no hoes.
Nothing more. That caught me all the way off guard, because it's like, why? Why ask me this out of all things? Like, with the vibe you was giving off, it made me assume you wanted me to turn into a construction worker and tear down your walls, if you know what I mean, which I would have been completely fine with. Isn't it supposed to be the other way around? Like, females aren't usually this bold, this fast. So I was kind of confused, because this ain't normal. Unless she was one of those people that fall in love easily. I didn't know mimicking what my homies did could get me this far. So I went deep into thought about my decision because I knew my intentions. I gave myself 2 choices. Either stop being childish and let her know my real intentions instead of leading her on, or shake up the dice, throw it, let's see what happens. So I answered her in a real nonchalant way. I don't know, you tell me.
See, he sold the bag, bro. What you should say, if you were dating, what would change? And they're gonna be sitting there, yeah, I don't know what to do, I don't know what to do. But whole team got him in your bag. Well, look at that little shit. Come on. What would change if we started dating? What do you say to that? Because if you tell him you start acting like a girlfriend, why would you show me that before so I like you? So what do you like? Come on, man. Come on, man. That's 81 Riz, bro.
I guess we're together then. I guess we are. Now that I think about it, looking back on it, this was a pretty dumb way of getting into a relationship. Rushed and chaotic, like, that was so stupid. What type of drugs was I on back then, if any? We wouldn't all be here right now if I just grew a pair. Like, I had the balls to get that far, but didn't have the balls to be direct? Psh. Couldn't be me now. I went into this committed relationship with a childish mindset. Like, relationships are meant for finding a mate that is compatible enough to potentially spend the rest of your life with. But no. I just said yes because she was a convenient freak and she had a lot of assets, which was my only motive for her, especially after she, yeah. Slobbed on your knob like corn on the cob. Swallowed all of your milk, every last drop. So you used her. I wouldn't say I used her. I just used her resources. You piece of shit. I know. I never got the chance to build a bond, you know, fall in love with her, but I did fall in love with what she had to offer, which was the one thing that kept me around in the beginning. And again, I was very childish and immature, so if I didn't get that one thing, then my immaturity was taken to a whole new level, and that ruined everything for me. So one night, she and I were on the phone talking for a couple hours, bringing up different topics.
Yo, fuck on with your cut, yo.
Do was vibe with her a little bit, especially after she, yeah. But I kept it as small talk. Didn't care about who her friends were, what she had going on, how her social life was. I didn't have the slightest bit of cares. Even though I still gave responses, it was all a facade to maintain my position. After some time, we get on the topic of sliding sausages into hot dog buns, if you know what I mean. If you haven't been understanding these hints, then you're either too young or you don't get out much. This topic got me actually interested because, again, that's all I wanted from her, and I still didn't get to do it yet. So I'm like, oh, since we're on that topic, when you gonna let me beat them doonies down, girl? With the expectation of an answer that I wanted to hear. But she tells me instead she's never letting me get in the guts. Ever. On the inside, I'm confused because I done already got the Gok 5000 Deluxe, so I'm questioning her like, what do you mean I won't? She repeats it again. And me being the idiot that didn't understand female nature at the time, I wasn't aware that she was just testing me. That's what women do after a while. They test you to see if you really are who you say you are. So she repeated it again. My energy that should have stayed the same went from 50 to 0. And like I said before, I was very childish and immature. So my mindset was, even though I'm in this committed relationship, what you won't do for me, another girl will. So I thugged it out with her for 10 more minutes to not seem suspicious. I get off the phone with her and start plotting who would be my victim to cheat with. I was such a piece of crap. This was the most accurate timing I've ever seen in my life. Bro. Luckily, my coworker that I went to school with told me at work the next day that this one girl I also went to school with before, named Tatiana, was moving back to town soon.
Damn, man,
y'all already know I was geeked when I heard she was moving back because I hadn't talked to Tatiana in about 2 years prior to the story. And if there's one thing I knew about Tatiana, it's that when it came down to me and her, even though I was shy before, she was still down for anything, but we never had time. One problem though, I deleted her number and Snapchat the day she moved. Plus, I didn't know her Instagram, so I had no way of contacting her. The only thing I remembered about her contacts was the fact that she had her first name in her username on Snapchat, and her bit emoji looked like her. I didn't remember her last name either. So in reality, I was kind of out of luck. But I didn't let that stop me. So after I got off of work that day, I got on Snapchat, typed in the first name, 2 Tatianas pop up with 2 different last names, and they weren't on my mutuals list. So all I gotta do is make the most accurate guess and go with the one that looks like her. So I went with the one that looked like her past Bitmoji because she always had her Bitmoji look like her, as I made clear before. Added her as a friend and waited a couple hours. Never got added back.
This is a charged lemonade from Panera.
What's wrong with you?
and
Just add
it's a
both.
force of nature. A delicious.
Until 7 p.m. came around. I didn't get added back by the one I picked, but instead there was another Tatiana that added me as a friend and wasn't a part of the first duo, which was kind of odd to me because it said this one was on my mutual friends list, which usually means they're close by, a list that I never checked before this. And her Bitmoji's appearance looked like the original, just like the other two, so I was confident that it was her. I added her back, slid in her DMs, and instantly I got a reply. So we chop it up for like 20 minutes. I ask her, does she remember me, how she's been, you know, the basic things to set the mood, and eventually I end up asking her to link. She agreed, and I was hyped for a minute until she asked me instantly if I wanted to tear her walls down. That was a little bit too fast. So for a second it got me happy because it became clear that we were on the same page, but in the back of my mind, I knew something was very off about this.
It's
She was
her
going all
texting
gas,
you,
no
bro.
breaks, talking about what position she wanted to be put in, what did she want me to do to her, everything
It's
under
her
the sun. And I'm
texting
sitting there
you.
like, yo, where was all this 2 years ago? In the middle of us talking, Sade calls me, and when I pick up the phone, something was different about her. Like, her energy was off, but I was still happy as a mug knowing I did what I just did, trying to ignore the fact that I was cheating, but something was still off about this. So she's like, Devontae, would you ever lie to me? When a woman asks you this question, 9 times out of 10, she already knows the answer. She's just trying to see if you're gonna lie to her face, which is something I didn't know at the time. So of course I said no.
Yeah? Alright.
Then she asked me, Devontae, would you ever cheat on me? And me being the naive, immature, unaware, childish kid I was, I still wasn't aware of what was going on. So of course I said no, never in fact. Then she gets quiet and tells me to look at our messages. I look at our messages and I see a screenshot of my messages with Tatiana. Bruh, my heart has never dropped so fast in my life. My heart dropped
never
it like
happened
it's
to me,
hot.
bro.
For the next 30 seconds, I ain't hear a word come out of her
Your
mouth.
coworker
It was
set you
dead
up.
silent in that room. Like, I've never panicked so hard in my life. It had to be God. Had to be. The timing was way too on point. Everything from the time I got off the phone with Sade the night before lined up so perfectly, because what were the odds that Sade would borrow her friend's account that just happened to be named Tatiana just to see if I would cheat? It blows my mind to this day. I think after my energy plummeted that night before, she got suspicious. I'm telling you, these females be turning into detectives when they see something suspicious.
No, bro,
Trust
you're an
me.
idiot,
After this
bro.
night, I most
I'll never
definitely
fall
did
for anything
everything
like
in my
that.
power to keep that legendary throat. That's why we stayed together for the next year with breaks, because it was pretty toxic after. She didn't see me the same, but I ain't ashamed of it. I'm human just like you. I make mistakes and learn from them just like you, and I don't regret it either, because without learning from my past mistakes, I wouldn't be who I am today. Cause you see, you gotta give a boy a chance to grow some. It still blows my mind to this day how everything happened
Is this man
so
really trying to hit
perfectly
me with
in line.
a-
It wasn't karma.
Ah.
It was most definitely God teaching me a
Envy!
lesson.